What's going on, YouTube? It's Jeff Tuffner here on the Glorious Podcast with my Monday Night Raw review, the November 2017 edition from Manchester, England. So, not a live show tonight, but you know what? I'll give WWE props. It was actually an okay show. It was acceptable for it not being live tonight. I'm not honestly that pissed at all. It wasn't the most eventful show. There were a few cool things that happened tonight. Even though, we saw them coming because, spoilers and stuff. I mean, you try to avoid spoilers. But then, around like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you're getting a notification from WWE pretty much telling you what's happening. Like, why would WWE do that? That was probably the stupidest thing they could possibly do, is send out a notification pretty much telling us there was a title change on Raw tonight and telling us the entire story. I mean, yeah, they put spoiler and all, but why do that? That just didn't make any sense by WWE at all. So I knew that was coming, that Cesaro and Sheamus would win the titles. I also, people were going crazy on Twitter about Pete Dunne showing up. So I knew those two things were coming, even though I kind of knew they were coming. Obviously, it would have been much more exciting to watch it as if it were happening live on the show. That would have really added a whole different element to it, but still amazing stuff. Pete Dunne showing up was probably the highlight of the show tonight, I think. I honestly didn't see that coming. I'm more surprised by Pete Dunne showing up tonight than Cesaro and Sheamus winning the titles back. Because if you really put a little bit of thought into it, Cesaro and Sheamus winning the titles maybe isn't I could see why. I'm starting to see why they did it. It's making sense to me now, because based on the way the show ended tonight, you had the New Day invade SmackDown. I mean Raw rather. So it appears they're setting up a New Day versus the Shield match at Survivor Series. So they trashed the idea of Rollins Ambrose, two-thirds of the Shield, taking on the Usos. So what they did was they were like, all right, we want to do their Shield versus, I'm getting all these teams mixed up here. The Shield versus New Day. And then, just put the titles back on Cesaro and Sheamus for the 100th time. And then have them face the Usos, which, when I first heard this news, I was pissed because that was one of the few matches I've been looking forward to, and everyone was looking forward to the Shield taking on the Usos. That was one of those matches we've been, it's been in the, talks for a while now, and we're looking forward to it, and now we're not going to get it. But it's starting to make sense why. I'm still kind of pissed that we're not getting it. But, I mean, tonight kind of explained mainly why it's not happening. Roman Reigns is actually not on one of the 5 men on the Raw team for Survivor Series. So there was a rumor that came out before the show or something that, the illness could keep him out longer than Survivor Series. But then it was announced on Raw tonight that he would be back next week. So Roman Reigns returns next week to Monday Night Raw. With the Shield. So the Shield will be back together. Expect them to announce a match between them and the New Day, because the New Day don't have anything currently to do on Survivor Series either, so it would make most sense for that to be announced. And, that pretty much explains everything that happened at the end of the show. The main event was an okay match. The tag match, like I said, usually the matches between these two teams are usually entertaining, quite entertaining, good wrestling matches. Once again, same thing tonight. Like I said, I mean, they kind of stepped away from this feud for a while, but then they kind of went back to it tonight. Obviously, just to switch the titles. But I don't know. I mean, so much for the whole Shield, putting the titles on Rollins and Ambrose. That run, I thought that run would actually go somewhere, to be honest with you. But it really didn't go much of anywhere. They took the titles off them, and now, it was just, just to set up another match of Survivor Series. So, I don't know. Survivor Series is, it's not really looking very intriguing, to be honest. It's got a few matches that are like, all right, that should be a fun match. But the majority of the card is kind of just like, sleep fest or whatever, because it just doesn't seem anything like worth exciting. Like, the Miz versus Baron Corbin. I mean, yeah, they've had some cool videos back and forth to each other on Twitter and stuff. But I mean, there's been nothing really to convince me like this is going to be a good match or anything. Alexa Bliss versus Natalya, like, that doesn't seem that intriguing. And like I said, I was looking forward to the Usos versus the Shield. That was going to be a fun match, but now we're not getting that. Now we're getting Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Usos, which I still think could be a good match, but I still would prefer, Rollins and Ambrose taking on the Usos than Cesaro and Sheamus. And then now we're probably going to get the Shield versus the New Day, which could also be good. But like I said, there's like nothing that's like jumping off the card. There's not like that one match at all. Like, really, the only matches right now that are really significantly intriguing are the 2 tag matches, the elimination ones. The men's and the women's matches are the only 2 matches really that should be like the good matches. I mean, if you're excited for Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal, then I don't know what's wrong with you, because I don't even want to mention that match, to be honest with you, because it's just not worth mentioning. It's just, I don't even want to, I don't even want to talk about it, to be honest with you, because I am just so sick of Jinder Mahal's title run. They need to get the title off him. Brock Lesnar, I mean, not everyone's a big fan of Brock Lesnar. Shows up about half the time, so just these two guys. It's just, and it's gonna be the main event in all likely. If it all pans out, it's presumably will be the main event of the show. So I don't know. I mean, who knows? There's a title in the match. I think they're doing AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE title tomorrow night on SmackDown. So I mean, I doubt we'll see a title change, but who knows? Who knows? We saw a title change tonight. I mean, but the chances of them doing it again, especially that big of a title, the WWE title, and it's not even a live show tomorrow night, obviously. So SmackDown's not gonna be so live tomorrow night. It's they're gonna have to cut the live part away from it and just go with SmackDown again tomorrow. It's like old times again with SmackDown. But I doubt we'll see a title change. But that would be crazy if they actually put the title in like AJ Styles or something, and then they actually did like AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. I don't know. That's way too far fetched. But at this point, that ain't gonna happen. We're too close to the show for a drastic change like that to go down. But it would be crazy though. I don't know. I mean, maybe Raw. I mean, it's either gonna happen this week or next week. Raw's gonna invade SmackDown. I mean, SmackDown already invaded Raw once, and then the New Day invades Raw tonight. So it's only a matter of time before either the entire Raw roster or some of the Raw roster show up on SmackDown. I don't know if it's gonna happen tomorrow, no, because they're over in Europe, so they're doing live events and stuff like every day for like the last 2 weeks straight almost. So I was looking, and Raw's doing a live event right during SmackDown, so maybe only a few stars will come over or whatever, or they won't even do it entirely, tomorrow night, and we'll just wait till it will be the last show until Survivor Series next Tuesday night on SmackDown. So we'll see when it happens, but it's gonna happen eventually. It's not like it won't happen. It will. I mean, like I said, that was okay. That was one of the highlights of the night, and obviously the other one, Pete Dunne showing up, making his main roster debut. This was a pretty cool moment because I would have really popped for this even more if I hadn't saw it coming. But it still was amazing. Pete Dunne on the main roster. I don't know if he's on like the main roster permanently now or whatever, but he's also going to appear on 205 Live tomorrow night, along with a bunch of other guys from the UK tournament and the whole, WWE UK division. I don't even know if it's really a division yet or whatever you want to call it, but a bunch of those guys are going to be there, so that's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be, I'm going to have to tune in 205 Live tomorrow to check that out. But Pete Dunne comes out while he's introduced by Kurt Angle, and then he has a match with Enzo, kills Enzo, and that's that. And then obviously they went on to announce it 205 Live. So I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. It's not like they had a great match or anything. No titles are on the line. Just the simple fact Pete Dunne showed up was cool. I'm a big fan of Pete Dunne. I mean, all those guys in that that UK tournament earlier this year, that was amazing. If you guys have not watched that tournament, go back on the WWE Network. I think it was like a 2-day thing or something. It's definitely worth to watch. If you want to get some good wrestling, that is definitely where to find it right there. Because I mean, I could go back and watch that entire thing all over again because it was just so good. Originally Tyler Bate won the title over Pete Dunne, and kind of an upset almost in that match. But then Pete Dunne won it back at NXT Takeover Chicago this past spring, and then he's been the champion since. So I don't know. They had him playing like that hardcore heel role, but it almost seemed as if he was the face tonight on Raw. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see Pete Dunne furthermore on Raw, as this is going to become like a weekly occurrence, or it was just one thing because they were over in the UK. I don't know where they're going to go from here. I really don't. I mean, are they going to get their own? Are they going to be on 205 Live every week? Are they going to be kind of like joining the Cruiserweight division in a way to where we'll see that? I don't know. I mean, they got their own title, so if anything, I mean, it's been rumored for a while that they were going to get their own show over in the UK, which would make the most sense, but they've been using these guys on NXT too, so I mean they're kind of all over the place. They're appearing on NXT, 205 Live, Monday Night Raw, and everything. So I mean, who knows? They might even show up on SmackDown for all we know. So I mean, I don't know what they're doing with them, but it was cool to see Pete Dunne tonight. And it'll be cool to see all those other guys tomorrow night on 205 Live. So 205 Live's viewership should do pretty good tomorrow night. What else we got on the Raw here tonight? Braun Strowman taking on The Miz, and then we could see Kane come out, and they're building up some type of Kane-Strowman match in the near future. Kane is not on the Survivor Series card, so here's what's gonna happen. It's pretty straightforward. Braun Strowman is in the men's Raw team match, the big match, so expect Kane to come out during that match, pretty much eliminate Strowman, and then set up a match with Strowman or something on Raw or whatever. This whole entire thing here is to get Strowman over. Just use Kane to get him over. Not that Strowman necessarily needs to be put over anymore because he is over. He is the most over guy right now in the company, Braun Strowman, that is. I mean, it's amazing how far he's come. It's been like, all these failures in WWE, but then there was Braun Strowman, somehow a success. Out of, it's just amazing because we just complain now, everybody's failing. They can't build new stars, but somehow, just somehow they did that with Braun Strowman, and people love Braun Strowman. They book him good. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those rare cases where I'm actually just every week in, week out, praising what they're doing with Braun Strowman, praising Braun Strowman because he's been amazing. How far he's come over like the last year, or whatever. Many people didn't even think he'd amount to anything. People didn't think he would go anywhere in this company. People thought he'd be like, he would just turn out maybe like Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, not much of anything in the whole Wyatt family or whatever. But somehow, I mean, he's become the biggest guy of everyone. He's bigger than Bray Wyatt right now, for all we know. So Strowman just continues. I mean, he doesn't need this feud with Kane to get over, but I guess they're just doing it because maybe they had nothing else in mind. Maybe give Kane one last run or whatever, but I don't know where they'll go, but just probably expect a match at some point. But in December, maybe. I don't know. Raw don't have a pay-per-view as far as I know until the Royal Rumble will be their next pay-per-view after Survivor Series. I know SmackDown has a pay-per-view Clash of Champions in December, but I don't mean, unless they do like an early January pay-per-view, which wouldn't make much sense. That would just be stupid, but yeah, so, I mean, there'll probably just be like a crazy match on Raw that will main event of Raw. I don't know, another steel cage or, no holds barred, falls can anywhere. Expect some crazy-ass match between Strowman and Kane sometime in the next month or whatever. What else did happen here tonight? Samoa Joe took on Finn Balor. Pretty good match. I like their match, actually, but we get an ending. None of them win. Security comes out, just turns into a giant brawl. And then Angle comes out and says they're both going to be part of the Monday Night Raw men's team at Survivor Series. So now it's Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Kurt Angle himself. These teams are getting confused. Braun Strowman and Jason Jordan. And that was a letdown. People were pissed. The crowd was pissed as hell when they announced Jason Jordan to be on the team. But yeah, Jason Jordan's on the team. So no Roman Reigns. I mean, think about it. Jason Jordan over Roman Reigns. Which is kind of surprising. I mean, if anything, I thought Roman Reigns would have been the captain of the team, but I guess that whole, not injury, but the illness or whatever he had, the mumps, the viral meningitis, we don't know what the hell it was. I mean, it still hasn't been confirmed. It's pretty bad, though, because he's been off TV for a long time. I don't know if WWE's just being very precautious with it here because we still haven't seen Bray Wyatt, but Bo Dallas is back, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we're not the biggest fans of Roman, but hopefully he's doing good and all. So, I mean, he's supposed to be back next week. So I guess they're just being very precautious with it and playing it safe, which makes sense. I mean, they don't need him on TV. So we'll see him next week, though. The whole Shield reunion, like I said, match with New Day is probably going to get announced for Survivor Series rather, on Raw next week. What else happened? Sasha Banks and Bayley defeat Nia Jax and Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox puts Sasha Banks on the Raw women's team. We also find out Asuka is going to be part of the Raw Women's team, which virtually, it's cool to see Asuka on the team and all, but that pretty much guarantees Raw's team's going to win, so kind of takes away from that part of the match because obviously, if you don't know now, Asuka's undefeated. She's got over like 500 wins or close to 600 wins in WWE. She's never lost. Tag team matches, single matches, whatever, you name it. So, there's no way they're losing. No way that's their first loss. So Raw already wins that match. It's if somehow SmackDown wins, they would have to do some weird scenario where Asuka doesn't get credited with the loss, which is sort of impossible, but I don't know. I mean, Raw wins, but I don't know. Hopefully it's a good match, though. Let's just hope that, the 5-on-5 women's match is just a good tag match. That's all I could ask for, but we know Sasha, Asuka, Alicia Fox obviously is on the team. I think Nia Jax is on the team, too. I think there's one more spot open. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think there's one more spot open, and we'll probably find out who that is next week. They didn't say Bayley, so maybe it will be Bayley. Maybe it will be someone else. I don't know. I mean, I probably will end up being Bayley, though. What else happened on the show tonight? Jason Jordan and Elias have a guitar match. Oh, God. Talk about hitting rock bottom here. I mean, the guitar match. Why a guitar match? Out of all things they could have done, they do a guitar match. You have to go up, grab the guitar, and then, hit your opponent with the guitar to win the match. That's all it was. It was actually a solid match, to be honest with you. These two have been having matches like week in, week out at this point. I mean, there's almost not a Raw that goes by where they don't have a match over like the last 2 months or whatever. Their matches actually are decent, though. I love Elias Sampson, or just Elias rather, because they ditched that whole name. But I actually love what they've done with him on the main roster. I mean, like I said before, he's one of the rare cases that actually he wasn't a huge success in NXT, but he's actually getting over really good on the main roster. Compared to Jason Jordan, on the other hand, it's just going to go. It's still going nowhere. It's still going nowhere with Jason Jordan. They've tried a million things. They switched his theme song rather almost 1,000 times, and that hasn't worked. They're doing everything with him. It's just the whole idea of Kurt Angle's son wasn't working initially, and they haven't really done anything. I mean, if anything, just turn him heel. I'm not going to go into that. I almost say this every week that they should just turn him heel because he gets no reaction at all. So I mean, people don't even know who he is. I mean, you just say, oh, that's Kurt Angle's son. Nobody's going to remember him from being Jason Jordan. People are going to remember him as Kurt Angle's son. So that's why that's been a complete train wreck there. I think I've covered the majority of the show tonight. The main points. I might have missed something small. Like I said, it was a recorded show, so I mean, for a recorded show, I was happy with what I got. If this were like live Monday Night Raw tonight, and it wasn't recorded or whatever, and didn't happen, I'd probably be kind of giving a different opinion. But just based on recent years and how they usually do on these shows when they go over to like England and stuff, they usually kind of just throw the towel in and kind of do a shit show. I mean, go back to I think it was May earlier this year. The Raws and SmackDowns that week was just awful. Like, I couldn't withstand those shows that week. They were awful. But, so far, I mean, I liked what I saw at Raw tonight. They actually did a pretty good show. Let's just keep our fingers crossed SmackDown does the same tomorrow night. It has potential to be a pretty good, decent show. I mean, we already got the Jinder Mahal taking on AJ Styles for the title, maybe a Raw invasion or something. And obviously the Survivor Series build continues. So, SmackDown should be interesting tonight. I mean, tomorrow night, rather. So, I don't know. I mean, Raw rating it a 10. I mean, I'm trying to be nicer this week, like I said, because it wasn't live. If it were live, I might be giving it maybe like a 6 out of 10. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. If it were live, 5 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10 tonight because, Pete Dunne showing up, title change in the main event. Lots of the matches were good, even though a lot of the stuff just kind of ended weird and crazy endings and stuff. But the matches were actually pretty solid if you look back at the show. I mean, Jason Jordan, Elias, solid match. Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, solid match. Cesaro, Sheamus, Rollins, Ambrose, that was a solid match. So there were just a lot of solid matches, even though all the endings were kind of all out of place and stuff. Everything was kind of, smooth tonight. Solid show. Just a real solid show. Not live. So, I mean, I'll accept it. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm not in the greatest mood. The greatest mood in regards to the show, but it was good enough. It did the job. But that's it, guys. Let me know what you guys thought of Monday Night Raw down in the comments section below. Go follow me all over social media. The links will be listed in the description. As always, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow night after SmackDown Live here on the Glorious Podcast with my review.